can't stand Ice Cube.
That's crazy.
I'm not a fan of him lyrically or acting wise.
Aries Spears.
Oh, that dude?
Yeah. He said nothing
Is he a comedian?
Yeah.
Because he ain't never made me laugh, so I don't know.
You know you really messed up when Ice Cube, the same man who wrote the legendary No Vaseline, takes time out of his billionaire schedule just to come for your name. But Aries Spears didn't just diss Cube once.
You don't think that one of the songs I hate the most, if it comes on, I want to shoot the radio. Today was a good day.
He went after his music, his acting, and his entire legacy live on Big Boy's neighborhood. This wasn't light shade, this was full-on disrespect. Aries called Cube trash as both a rapper and an actor. Ice Cube, being who he is, wasn't about to let that slide. He clapped back, calling Aries irrelevant, not funny, and not even on the radar of black comedy's top 10.
Comedian, speaking kind of bad about you, man.
Who is this?
Aries Spears.
Oh, that dude?
Yeah. He said nothing.
Is he a comedian?
Yeah.
Because he ain't never made me laugh, so I don't know if he...
Then, as if things weren't already messy, 50 Cent saw the clip. And if you know 50, you know he couldn't resist jumping in because he loves clowning somebody who's already down bad. What started off as a chill conversation turned into a circus. It all began when Big Boy brought up one of those easygoing barbershop-style debates about ranking rappers and who belongs on the all-time list. Simple, right? But Aries Spears did what Aries Spears does best. He went completely rogue. As soon as Ice Cube's name came up, he didn't hesitate. He blurted out, "Ice Cube is a motherfucking lyricist. I can't stand Ice Cube, that's crazy. I'm not a fan of him." The room went dead silent. Nobody knew how to react. Trying to break the tension, John threw in a joke impersonating Cube as a gynecologist. "Hey, Miss Jenkins, I looked at your cho like, get up on that bun."
Great joke. He goes, here's Ice Cube as a gynecologist. "Hey, Miss Jenkins, I looked at your chort. Now get up on that bun."
That's racist. I don't know how it's racist, but what you just did is...
But instead of laughs, it got awkward fast. Someone even said, "That's racist. I don't know how it's racist, but what you just did is racist." Aries laughed it off, but everyone else sat there tight-lipped. And the craziest part, Aries still wasn't done. Mocking Cube once just didn't satisfy him. This was Aries Spears completely crossing the line. The co-hosts weren't laughing, the vibe was off, and Big Boy even tried to steer the conversation back on track. But Aries wouldn't stop. He just kept digging himself deeper. And then, just when you thought it couldn't get worse, he took a shot at Tupac. Aries said, "Pac was not the greatest lyricist. He was energy, he was passion, he made you feel him. If that said tear the club up, you want tear club up, right?"
Not the greatest lyricist. He was energy, he was passion, he made you feel him. If that said tear the club up, you wanted to tear the club up. Dear mama, you wanted to hug your mama. When you think about lyricism, Nas, Jay-Z, Biggie, Jadakiss, my lyrics spit it.
The room got colder than ice after that. And this is exactly why people started saying Aries wasn't credible at all. He's out here dismissing two icons, Pac and Cube, like he's got the authority. Some even said, New York mad because the West Coast took their crown in the 80s and 90s. What Aries didn't see coming was the actual legends he dissed firing back. Normally, in this industry, big names just ignore stuff like this. They let the nobodies talk and keep it moving. But not this time. Ice Cube wasn't about to let it slide. Cube clapped back like the legend he is. He didn't just defend himself, he questioned Aries' whole existence in the comedy world.
Did you hear what he said?
What'd he say?
He said it was nothing about you impresses him. From movies to rapping, nothing at all impresses him. I'm like, wow, like what?
Suckers usually don't like me. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that you know, they usually don't like me when they coming from that angle. That's cool though. You know, everybody got their opinion and they all stink. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's cool. You know, he entitled to his opinion.
Cube asked if Aries was even funny, even relevant, even real in the black comedy scene. And then he went further. He downgraded Aries Spears' entire career in one swoop.
The feeling is mutual. You know, I don't think he on anybody's list of top 10 comedians, you know what I mean, in the black community for sure. I don't even know if he's on the register. What up?
Cube knew exactly what he was doing. He's not new to this game. He's true to it. This is the same man who wrote for NWA, created one of the greatest diss tracks of all time, produced the classic Friday movies, and built the Big Three basketball league from the ground up. Ice Cube is a mogul with receipts everywhere, and he made sure Aries knew it. But that viral clip wasn't the end of it. Aries was just getting started. Even after the legends clowned him and fans dragged him online, he still popped up on Vlad doubling down like nothing had happened. Apparently, mocking Cube once just wasn't enough for him. But here's what Aries didn't understand. At this point, it wasn't even about Ice Cube anymore. Somewhere in a luxury hotel suite, probably sipping champagne and scrolling his phone, 50 Cent was watching the entire mess unfold. And let's not forget, Aries had also thrown shade at him. People assumed 50 would stay quiet and just enjoy the show from the sidelines. But that's not how 50 operates. Out of nowhere, he dropped a slick, passive-aggressive video online. He didn't say any names, but fans immediately knew exactly who it was aimed at. 50 basically called someone delusional without ever having to say the word Aries Spears. And that's classic 50 Cent. But wait, why did 50 even jump into this? The man stays busy. He's producing Power and BMF, selling liquor, locking in TV deals, touring the world. The guy barely has time to sleep. So why did this particular clapback make it all the way to his Instagram? Here's what a lot of people forget. 50 Cent and Ice Cube go way back, and there's major mutual respect between them.
Ice Cube was on when I'm just watching. Music, all of it.
Movies, all of it.
Yeah. I never really seen Ice Cube in films that weren't his.
Mm.
You know, like he kind of produced the vehicle that he was in. And it wasn't like he was just being an actor in someone else's film.
Cube co-signed 50's movie moves back when most of Hollywood wasn't even taking him seriously. And over the years, 50 has always given Cube his flowers in interviews. That bond runs deep. Now Aries Spears, he's the exact type of comic 50 can't stand. Loud, abrasive, constantly talking, but with nothing fresh or relevant to back it up. That's the kind of target 50 loves to roast. So when he saw Aries mouthing off, 50 came fully loaded. He even fired off his own bar. Check my temperature, I'm ice cold. The hood left the left side of my chest froze. Need help with your bills? I'll write you a referral-ish. You might even get you a love contract. That's a cold way of saying, don't mess with me. By this point, Aries was definitely feeling the heat. And instead of cooling off, he spiraled. He went on a full emotional rant, this time aimed straight at Ice Cube. And Aries didn't stop there. He was still clearly hurt over what Cube had said about him.
I'm the poster child for the world's biggest hater. If you look up the word hate, it's my picture. When did we get to a point where unless your opinion, and last time I checked as human beings, we're all allowed to opinions. At what point does it get to where unless your opinion is favorable about a person or a thing and goes with the flow of everyone else, you're a hater? I don't understand that.
But from this point on, it only got way messier because this is where Aries Spears completely destroyed his own argument. In the same breath, Aries tried to say he respects Ice Cube as a man, but then claimed Cube had never done anything impressive, ever.
Somebody sent me a clip where Ice Cube responded. He was on a radio show and the dude played him the snippet. And the first thing Ice Cube says is, well, most suckers don't like me. Then he goes on to say, I never heard of this dude. Then he finishes by saying, well, he's just not funny. Well, you can't have it both ways. If you don't know who I am, how do you know if I'm funny or not?
That's not just an opinion, that's a straight up contradiction. And that's exactly why people started dragging him all over again. It wasn't about having a hot take anymore. It was about flip-flopping and playing victim.
For the record, I respect Ice Cube, the man. I respect Ice Cube in terms of what he's brought to the game. He's one of the pioneers. So hats off to him. I wasn't a fan of his artistry. I never attacked him as a man. I never attacked him in terms of his character. I said I wasn't a fan of his artistry. Why am I not allowed to feel that way? Why is that? And then secondly, it's always funny. People call me a hater because they love to highlight when I say I don't like something as though I don't have love for anything.
People started leaving brutal comments like, you can't give a hot take and get mad when someone matches your energy. Another person said, you can have your opinion, but after that skit, G, you not valid. Ice Cube a made man. But then came the comment that really hit Aries where it hurt. People started bringing up his dark past. Suddenly, this wasn't just about beef with Cube anymore. They reminded everyone of the Tiffany Haddish lawsuit from 2022. Aries Spears and Tiffany Haddish had been hit with disturbing allegations involving grooming. The lawsuit centered on a bizarre and unsettling comedy skit where a child was left alone with a creepy adult character played by Aries. the camera lingered on the child in ways that made everyone uncomfortable.
You call me.
Oh yes, Uncle Pete. Can you watch TJ for me? I need to run to the I gotta run some errands. I need to go to the cleaners, and I should be coming back. Okay.
All right, baby.
Thank you.
And even though the case was later dropped, the damage to his reputation stuck around, and just like that, the entire narrative shifted. This was no longer just about Ice Cube, it was about Aries Spears' entire past coming back to haunt him. And believe it or not, things got even worse after that. The backlash was instant and brutal. Twitter absolutely exploded, and even the Shade Room dropped the footage, and it was ugly. Sure, the case was eventually settled and the video scrubbed from the internet, but the stain on Aries Spears' name never washed off. His reputation was already in free fall. And what did he do next? He ran right back to Vlad TV. At this point, people started noticing a pattern. Aries Spears was showing up on Vlad's channel more than Vlad himself. Every time he appeared, he was complaining about being blackballed and ranting about how he should be as big as Kevin Hart. Fans clocked it quick. Aries was talking more than he was actually working. Meanwhile, his name wasn't coming up for stand-up tours or new acting roles. He was only making headlines for scandals and bitter sound bites. Instead of comedy, he was going viral for dissing legends, starting beefs, or digging up old drama and hoping the internet still cared. But that's not even the whole story. Aries Spears also carries a heavy reputation in the industry. Multiple former castmates have publicly said he was difficult to work with, had a serious ego problem, and was constantly trying to one-up everyone in the room. That kind of energy has burned a lot of bridges, and now it's catching up to him in a major way. Yes, Aries Spears is talented, he can do impressions, he can roast a crowd, he can work a room, but here's the truth, he never got his Chappelle moment. That kind of resentment doesn't just disappear, it eats away at you.
Your
What's the
equation
satisfaction
will never
number?
be satisfied. Why? Because some other mother will come along that'll take and blow the world up, and you'll want to be that. And then some other will
No,
come
but
around
no,
and have as talented as you, or possibly more, and then you're going to get upset because again, you focus on everything that is not you.
Hold
and
up.
everything you want,
Wait a minute.
but not what's in your present space.
Now let's flip it and ask the real question. Why did this beef blow up in Aries' face so badly? Because when you come for Ice Cube, you're not just talking about a rapper or an actor, you're coming for a pillar of the culture. Let's break it down. No Vaseline is consistently ranked as one of the top 3 diss tracks of all time, period. Friday isn't just a movie. It's a franchise that redefined black comedy, birthed iconic characters, and became a rite of passage in hip-hop culture. Then you have the Big 3 League, an entire basketball league built from scratch that now has major investors and real NBA legends backing it. And that's just the surface. Before all of that, Cube was ghostwriting classics for Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, MC Ren, and the whole NWA crew while he was barely out of high school. That's a cultural footprint you can't erase. Meanwhile, Aries Spears' biggest impact, a bunch of mad TV impersonations, a few solid stand-up bits, and now dissing Ice Cube on random podcasts just to go viral for all the wrong reasons. This is exactly why fans instantly sided with Cube, and then came the final twist. Ice Cube posted a teaser cast list for the long-awaited Final Friday movie, and Aries Spears' name was nowhere to be found. Now, maybe he was never even being considered, but the timing? Fans were convinced Cube was sending a message loud and clear. No matter how many impressions Aries can do, he's never going to be cast where it really counts. He wanted to go viral, and he did, but not for the jokes. Now he's trending because 2 legends basically called him a nobody, and nobody disagreed. If you made it this far, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Aries can bounce back from this, or is it a wrap? Either way, I'll see you on the next one.